Please stand for the national anthem.
been shown to each of us, the graduating seniors, and for the opportunities given to us to respond to that love and to share that love with others during these past 4 years. As we come to such a major stepping stone in the path of our lives, we give thanks for all the efforts that have been poured into our lives through our parents and our teachers and the many people in this community who have done so much to encourage us and enrich our educational environment. We are also grateful for the recognition and the honors that this district has received because of the dedication and the service of the students here this evening. But we know that the real fruit of our labors will be revealed as we, young men and women, move on to accomplish the goals that have been set for us. So, our offering this evening is this: that our lives will be touched in such a way that will enable us to reach our total potential, that we will seek wisdom and strength in all of our endeavors, that our eyes will be focused so that we can receive every blessing that is in store for us, and that we will always be filled with a desire to serve others. Thank you. Please be seated. Our next speaker is Michelle Mellick.
Welcome, and thank you for coming to the graduation ceremony of the Upper St. Clair class of 2012. We have dreamt about this moment for years, and it's finally here. I remember entering 6th grade and thinking, wow, we're halfway there. At that point, 1st grade seemed like a long time ago, so I thought the second half would feel as long as the first, but it did not. These last 6 years have flown by. I remember the first day of 7th grade when Mr. Demar said that before we know it, we'll be off to the high school. High school back then seems like an abstract thought, but lo and behold, those 2 years at Fort Couch flew by, and it was time for freshman year. High school was an experience of its own. With new freedoms, friends, and fantastic opportunities, we were challenged and tested time and time again. At times, it may have seemed difficult, even impossible, but it was those times that shaped us into the young men and women that we are today. We have worked long and hard to reach this point, and our successes are greatly due to all of you. First, to all of our friends, thank you for letting us feel comfortable enough to relax and enjoy ourselves every day, a necessary factor in balancing our school, social, and family lives. To all of the teachers and administrators, thank you for dedicating your time and effort to our education and overall school experience. We could not be here without your knowledge and guidance. Dr. Galani and Dr. O'Toole, you have set an expectation of excellence for all of the students, and we appreciate your dedication to us. To all of the extended family members, thank you so much for joining us for this important milestone in our lives. To all of the siblings, whether we will be leaving you this summer for college or following in your footsteps, thank you for always being there for us over the years. Although we might drive each other crazy at times, you will always be our first and best friends. And most importantly, to all of our parents, thank you for all of your support and everything you have done to allow us to reach this point. We realize the many sacrifices you have made for us, and we will be forever grateful. Most of all, thank you for your love and support. So, thanks to everyone who has paved the path that has led us to the final destination today, the graduation of Upper St. Clair's class of 2012. And now, I would like to introduce the next speaker, Daniel Rive.
Class of 2012. This is the day that we've been waiting for almost our entire lives. A day that represents so much more than just finally being done with punching in our student IDs to buy a lunch, or having fire drills every Thursday at 1:27, or getting asked to quiet down please in the library. Today, we finally graduate and enter the real world. Today, we grow up. But what does graduating and growing up actually mean? Tomorrow, we'll all wake up in the same beds we slept in as high school students. We'll still be under our parents' rules. We still won't have houses or cars or freedom. The only difference is a fancy sheet of parchment paper with our names and a signature from Dr. O'Toole. But truly, this day means so much more than the diplomas we are all minutes from receiving. About 4 years ago, we were all doe-eyed 8th graders experiencing our first taste of the high school on move-up day. I remember walking through my simulation schedule, amazed at how big the school was and how many times in 60 minutes I got lost. However, after 4 years, we all became accommodated to the new challenges our high school brought. The weird bells that rang sometimes early, sometimes late, sometimes not at all. The nights where each teacher assigned 2 hours of homework that ended up never being collected. The behemoths we call seniors, who hip-checked us in the lunch lines and owed monopolies on the computers. But from that first horrifying day in August 2008, look how far we've come. No one in this audience could have predicted the successes we've had as a class. Our National Honor Society chapter was the largest in recent Upper St. Clair history. Many students became all-state and nationally recognized musicians, artists, writers, scholars, and speakers. Our peers and friends were accepted to numerous Ivy League and wildly impressive schools. Our sports teams as well were unbounded in their successes, making 2011-2012 a year for the WPIAL record books. If Dr. Galani had gotten on stage in 2008 and told us that our class was destined to be the greatest class in USC history, we all would have shared a collective laugh and gone on with our lives. Instead, we rose to the intrinsic expectations we placed upon ourselves and exceeded our wildest dreams. No longer were we students of the rich school that were handed successes on its silver platter. Instead, we were the determined students that earned every laurel bequeathed to us. So have we truly grown? Of course, with every remarkable accomplishment comes a fair share of adversity, and throughout our tenure in Upper St. Clair, we've been no strangers to hard times. We were surrounded throughout our middle school years by the conflict over the IB program. We survived snowmageddon, tropical depressions, sporadic hailstorms, the occasional microburst, and an ominous fire started by a poorly designed wooden frame over a kiln. Most of all, we lost a revered teacher and mentor in the incomparable Dr. Wildenhain, whose memory we honor today. His indefatigable work ethic and his hilarious Southern aphorisms are enough to motivate me, as well as anyone else who is graced by his skills as a teacher to achieve all we can in our lives. Therein lies the true greatness of our alma mater. Throughout every step we've taken, every test we've passed, every touchdown we've scored, and every trophy we've received, we have all been given the tools for a successful life. These tools come from the teachers we admire, our peers, our parents, and ourselves. Every day in this school, without being consciously aware, we've grown up a little bit, excluding the one day in health where we watched a childbirth. But there's no denying that we have grown up. We've survived the 8 finals weeks that bring out the worst in everyone, both the volatile personalities and the ratty sweatpants. We even survived one final junior year in the dark after a rainstorm obliterated the power system and anyone's hopes of getting an A on the physics final. We've survived enough Charles Dickens novels to last a millennium, trigonometric proofs, derivatives, integrals, and inverses, Modern Family episodes, and my personal favorite, we've survived one incredibly pesky red wheelbarrow that maybe represented aesthetic beauty or communism or rainwater. But when we found the derivative of the arcsine of U, or acted out a scene from Romeo and Juliet, or memorized every river in Europe for a 20-point quiz, we've grown. We've learned how to study, how to get along with people during pesky group projects, and in the words of my hero, Mr. John Irwin, how to act like circuits and take the path of least resistance. We've discovered new ways to cut corners to expedite our learning and get A's with the minimal amount of effort necessary. But this skill will render itself obsolete as we enter the real world outside our bubble. We will all be harshly dropped into environments where every football player is the best athlete from his high school and every student earns straight A's in her AP classes. So have we truly grown? The answer to my question is an astounding yes. Yes, we've all grown immensely from the time we've set foot in this beautiful school to where we are sitting today. Yes, we've accomplished more than any class before us. Yes, we've seen our fair share of adversity and we've become the better for it. And yes, we've battled geometry and Shakespeare and all-nighters to earn our seats at today's proceedings. As we venture into college life, we may not be aware, but we have every tool necessary to survive and thrive as graduates and eventual members of society paramount to the success of our country. In 10, 20, even 50 years as we reunite, we'll look back on today's events and the trials and tribulations of our high school careers and be thankful. We'll thank the teachers who taught us how to read, write, add, subtract, and turn on a Bunsen burner. But most importantly, we'll thank the teachers who taught us how to be good people. We'll undoubtedly thank our parents for housing us, feeding us, and dealing with whatever happened to us these last few years that made us remarkably mentally unstable and detached. We'll thank our friends who stuck by our sides even when no amount of caffeine could cure our Mondays. And most importantly, thank ourselves. We'll thank ourselves for actively receiving the best education in the state, seeking the best opportunities we could afford, and enjoying the best and most unforgettable 4 years of our lives. So, in the words of the famous alma mater, hail to the Panthers' reign and to dear old Upper St. Clair. Congratulations, class of 2012, we did it. And now I'd like to invite my good friend Mary Hornack to the stage.
The administration and faculty, to our families and friends, thank you for being a constant source of encouragement as we worked each day to advance and to excel. To our role models, thank you for inspiring us to always put forth our best efforts and for reminding us to never fear making our voices heard. Most importantly, though, congratulations, class of 2012. We have finally made it. This is surely a day of which we've all been dreaming. I, for one, can remember my first days in the high school as a lost and overwhelmed freshman. Back then, this ceremony honestly seemed to be light years away. Now, as I stand here in my cap and gown, surrounded by so much support, I'm overwhelmed by a feeling of pride and accomplishment, a touch of apprehension, and of course, an incredible amount of excitement. Today, as we draw close to the first chapters of our lives, we are together as one group of friends, one graduating class. Ever since we first embarked on our educational journeys just 13 years ago, school has been focused on our scholastic achievements, and rightfully so. But in our time here at Upper St. Clair High School, some of the most important lessons have extended well beyond the classroom walls. Though these lessons cannot be assigned a letter grade or score out of 800, they are some of the most lasting notes we will need while we continue to write our own stories. It is safe to say that most of us have had our fair share of bittersweet battles with Shakespeare and Homer, but our strides in learning to read have not stopped on the pages of those dusty books. Throughout the past few years, we've really learned to read one another and to read ourselves. We've learned that we have our own unique spot in the high school hierarchy. Maybe we even picked up that there are some perks to being a wallflower, and that friends is a word we must individually define. Whoever we were in high school, we were somebody, each with a special spot in the school's community. High school was a time for us to begin to build our identities, a time for us to discern our academic aspirations, and most importantly, a time for us to develop our personal character sketches. After making it through the gossip-ridden hallways, we have understood the undeniable power and necessity of friendship. It is from experience with the usual high school drama that we have come to surround ourselves with people who truly make us happy, who encourage us to do more, and who wholeheartedly support our dreams, no matter how crazy they may be. We all have that handful of special friends who have stood beside us no matter what, and today is the day to recognize those bonds that have lasted so long. To my friends, thank you for making this first chapter all that it has been. You were always there for me, reminding me that one small setback was not the end of the world and that it was never too late to start over on a new page. Above all, you have taught me what it means to be a friend, and for that, I thank you. Whether high school has or has not been those best 4 years of our lives, it has undoubtedly been a journey, a time for us to begin to grow up and set the foundations for our futures. We've used the last 4 years to learn about ourselves, to realize that we are often stronger than we ever thought we could be. Emotionally, physically, academically, we have learned to push ourselves just beyond our limits to work towards our wildest dreams. This moment right now reminds us that dreams backed by unwavering passion can become reality. Aside from our introduction to life's literature, we've also been exposed to the real-time writing of the tales of our community, our nation, and our world. Flashback to 2001. I remember in second grade when a frenzied gathering of teachers interrupted a competitive game of Around the World in Spanish class. At the time, many of us had no idea what was happening. My innocent concern in the moment was the sparkly pink pencil that would be awarded to the winner of the game. Over the next few weeks, though, our 8 and 9-year-old selves began to learn of the atrocities of 9/11. We gradually began to realize that there was, in fact, a world outside of Upper St. Clair. Through this first taste of reality, we learned that the safety and security we felt within our community was something to be cherished. Since then, we have kept up with the growing pressures to become culturally literate and aware of the world outside this tiny bubble. We have seen history unfold, and now it is our time and our turn to be a part of shaping the future. It is time for us to make an impact. Past and future aside, it is the present that matters. All of us today. We, as a group, have fostered strong bonds through Friday night football games, summertime bonfires, and school dances. There are students here today who have set athletic records, who have conducted extracurricular research, and who have performed on the national stage. Students here have traveled both locally and internationally to have a smile and lend a helping hand. Our classmates have become mentors to younger students so that no one would ever feel alone in our school's community. In short, our graduating class is exceptional. We've gone above and beyond to make a difference and to stand out, some way, somehow. All that we have learned under the guidance of our instructors, families, and friends will be put to the test over the next few years as we continue our educations, enter the workforce, and pursue personal goals. Whether we compose music, inspire change, make art, conduct experiments, sprint to the finish line, or become a hero, let us all be excited to draft the chapters that await. Because this moment today, it is just the end of chapter 1. Ahead of us, we've still got entire stories left to write. As soon-to-be graduates of Upper St. Clair High School, we are blessed with the opportunity to write those biographies almost entirely as we wish. Whether our passions remain the same or we tap into a source of courage, taking risks to dance to a whole new beat, our graduating class is bound to be a positive addition to whatever may come. Congratulations, class of 2012, and good luck. Our next speaker will be Taylor Manalo.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. A single step, a first step. Remember back to the first step you took onto that big yellow school bus on the first day of kindergarten. Your smile was so wide that it covered nearly your entire excited face, but you could see just enough out of your squinted eyes to wave goodbye to your mom and dad before heading off to the first day of the next 13 years of your life. Remember the neighbor that you had seen once or twice playing outside, and remember sitting down next to him, for it only seemed right since he had a smile that matched yours. Remember your first step toward friendship. Remember the first step you took onto the seemingly massive high school stage for your elementary school talent show. Remember the countless run-throughs you did of your act, the practice and perfection that went into your 2 minutes of youthful fame. Remember the pre-performance jitters that somehow disappeared when you saw all of your peers gazing up at you from the crowd, and the applause that rang in your ears when you took your final bow, knowing that you had presented the perfect act. Remember your first step toward accomplishment. Remember the first step that you took climbing up Mount Davis, with mom or dad taking that first step next to you. Your foot next to mom's or dad's, you realized that your amazing parent came on this trip just for you. Remember the fun times you had on this trip and on many others with the best parents and family in the world. And remember your first step toward love. Remember that step you took getting out of the car for the overnight trip in 8th grade. You anxiously grabbed your bags and rushed to meet your friends, barely remembering to shut the car door. Remember the trip itinerary, the fun bus rides, and silly group pictures, with a little bit of learning thrown into the mix. Your first trip without your parents. Remember your first step toward independence. Remember the first step you took into the high school 4 years ago. Remember looking like a deer in headlights among the sea of students walking through the great glass doors. Remember sneaking glances at the directional signs posted in the halls, trying so hard not to be noticed when doing so. You were constantly reminding yourself that there really is no third floor, and earnestly praying that you would survive your first day. You made it though, and now you can remember your first step toward growing up. Remember the first step you took today. Remember the times you've imagined this, never really thinking you would ever be in a high school graduate's shoes. Remember the hard work that you have put in over the years to get to this point in your life. Remember the all-nighters you pulled to finish that final English paper, the early Saturday mornings that you grudgingly sat through 3 hours of SAT testing, the finals that you never thought you'd actually make it through last week, but somehow did. You have worked so hard to get here. Always remember your first step toward pride. And now, remember that you are the future. Remember the black and white robes that surround you today. Remember that each of you has a purpose. Remember to carry with you what you have learned, and remember the sea of caps that will soon be flying high above our heads. Remember this moment, your high school graduation, and with it, remember your first step toward the next chapter in your life. Members of the Upper St. Clair High School's graduating class of 2012, I'm so proud to be standing among you all today. and you should be so proud as well. As I said before, you each have a purpose. You are successful, you are unique, and you also have a great life ahead of you. So don't forget about that journey that you are on. Yes, you have taken many first steps, and yes, those steps have been the first towards so many important life lessons: friendship, accomplishment, love, independence, growing up, pride, and most importantly, potential. The next chapter in your life is what you want it to be. So you want to be a doctor? Do it. So you want to have a family? Go for it. So you want to walk on the moon? Make it happen. Take that first step. Take 1,000 more first steps. Make those 1,000 miles 10,000, 20,000. Put no limit on what you can do. With each step you take, make it your goal to double your distance. Raise it to the power of E. Take it to infinity. Go beyond what you ever thought was possible. Your life is a journey. Turn around every once in a while to see where you've been, to remember what you've done, to cherish the memories that will never leave you. But never stop moving forward, for though you may have already taken more steps than can be counted on a million hands, there are still so many more to be taken. Make them count. Make them you. I congratulate you, all who are here today, on accomplishing all that you have thus far in your life. I know that though this part of your life is ending, in the grand scheme of things, your life is truly just beginning. No matter where your future leads you, I ask you to remember as you go through your life. Dream it. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Remember to believe in all that you aspire to be. Create it. As George Bernard Shaw said, life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Remember to be imaginative and create a masterpiece out of your life. Experience it. As Randy Posh said, experience is what you get when you didn't get what you wanted, and experience is often the most valuable thing that you have to offer. Remember to try new things. The unknown often turns out to be less scary than you might think. Love it. As Arthur Rubinstein said, I have found that if you love life, life will love you back. Remember, love presents itself in many forms. Find it in your life, and you'll never be alone. And most importantly, live it. As Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So take those shots. Step confidently into the future. Never forget where you came from or where you are going, and always remember to live your life to its fullest. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Dr. Galani.
Dr. O'Toole, Mrs. Stern, Board of School Directors, administrators, parents, teachers, friends, and members of the class of 2012. Welcome to the 52nd Annual Upper St. Clair High School Commencement Exercise. As principal of Upper St. Clair High School, I am pleased to be presiding over this joyous occasion. This day belongs to these young men and women seated before us. Tonight is also a testament to you, the moms, dads, grandparents, brothers and sisters, and friends who, through your constant support, understanding, and sacrifice, have helped these young men and women get to this point. Seniors, this is an important opportunity to join me to thank your parents, family, and friends for their committed support and unconditional commitment. Commencement exercises like this one tonight embody one of our great rituals in our current culture. It is a unique and meaningful ceremony that marks the close of one chapter and the beginning of another great adventure. The group of students before you has been well prepared and bears the knowledge and experience that will help them successfully begin this journey. If their past performance is any predictor of their future success, I think I can speak with some certainty that they will realize extraordinary accomplishments. The Upper St. Clair School District has been bestowing diplomas upon seniors since 1960 when 100 seniors graduated. Today, we celebrate the accomplishments of 368 fine students. The class of 2012 has been recognized with numerous awards, honors, and distinctions. This is a group of students who have demonstrated exceptional academic, athletic, and artistic achievement. Among these achievements are 12 National Merit finalists, 19 National Merit Commended students, 17 valedictorians, 8 Superintendent Academic Achievement Awards, 6 International Baccalaureate Diploma candidates, 156 National Honor Society members. They were first in the state in future problem solving. Our Odyssey of the Mind team was a world finalist. They were conference champions in football, section champions and WPIL champions in boys golf, section champions in girls golf, section champions and WPIL champions in boys soccer, section champions and WPIL champions in girls soccer, section champions in boys volleyball, section champions in girls volleyball, and section champions in girls swimming. They also receive superior ratings from many of our musical groups. Our students will be traveling to all corners of the country to pursue their education in such states as Arizona, Iowa, Vermont, Michigan, New York, California, Montana, Utah, Texas, Alabama, and here at home in Pennsylvania. They will be attending many prestigious universities, including the University of Michigan, Columbia, Rutgers, West Point, Carnegie Mellon, Cornell, Vassar, Purdue, Drexel, Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, Penn State, Washington University, and the University of Pittsburgh. I believe that our graduates today will accomplish great achievements, reach great heights, and become great leaders in their communities and in our nation. It wouldn't be a graduation speech if I didn't include an inspirational quote. This isn't quite inspirational, but I think it's special for this particular class. For the class of 2012, I've chosen a quote to share with you that I feel is very appropriate for them. We impose meaning on the chaos of our lives. We create form, morality, and order. It's a choice that we have to make every second of every minute of every day. That was said none other by this class's favorite caped crusader, Batman. Now for my official duties. Dr. O'Toole, please join me. Dr. O'Toole, as the principal of Upper St. Clair High School, I do hereby certify that the students gathered before us have met the requirements for graduation as mandated by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Upper St. Clair High School Board of School Directors. Dr. O'Toole, I present to you the Upper St. Clair High School class of 2012.
Thank you, Dr. Galani. Where else would you rather be but right here, right now? I have some good news and bad news. The good news is, unlike last year, there are no rain clouds overhead. The bad news is, when we had rain clouds overhead last year, I cut my speech. Good evening, class of 2012, family and friends of the class, and the esteemed members of the Upper St. Clair class of 2012, administration, faculty, staff, and community. It's my pleasure to take a few minutes to address our graduates tonight. I first wish to commend our outstanding student speakers and our talented musicians and those who have prepared the students and stage for this commencement ceremony. Recently, I was watching a TED Talks video featuring psychologist and author Barry Schwartz. Citing the teachings of Aristotle, Schwartz talked about the need for embedding something called practical wisdom into our everyday work. Your parents and I, we like the term wisdom because at our age, we can simply point to our experiences and our gray hair and say that we have wisdom. No test or demonstration of learning required. Schwartz defined practical wisdom as doing the right thing the right way. In hopes that you will do the right things the right way, I offer our graduates my 3 points of practical wisdom. Number 1, have a learning plan for life. Number 2, be a leader. And number 3, know that you are part of something bigger than yourselves. Constructing a learning plan for life. To achieve success today requires that one never stops learning. The great news for students today is that in order to learn, you no longer need to be in a specific place at a specific time with a specific teacher. Today, you can learn almost anything at any time, at any place, from anybody, including a worldwide expert. Through our hyper-connected world, you can learn something as simple as how to tie your shoes, or something as complex as the dynamics of nonlinear systems through an MIT lecture. With all of these resources available to us, it is critical to have an intentional plan for continuous learning, and at the center of this plan is something very old-fashioned, reading. Read everything you can about whatever interests you, or whatever endeavor you wish to pursue. My second point of practical wisdom is be a leader. A piece of practical wisdom I have learned recently is that everyone is a leader. Leaders are not just government officials, the teachers in the front of the class president, the team captain, or the boss at work. Each of us is a leader because at a very minimum, each of us leads our own lives. You will find yourself in a role at home, school, or work where you will not be the designated formal leader. But I can guarantee you that there will come times and instances where you will be required to speak up and step up and take the lead in order to address a matter that is unplanned, incongruent with the mission of your organization, or in conflict with your personal values. Just think about the events that dominate the news headlines today and ask yourself the question, did the leader lead, or any individual for that matter, step up and, as Schwartz suggests, do the right thing the right way? My third point of practical wisdom is know that you are part of something bigger than yourselves. We are citizens of the United States of America, the greatest nation the world has ever known. Renowned orator Daniel Webster eloquently spoke of our country this way: let our object be our country, our whole country, and nothing but our country. And by the blessing of God, may that country itself become a vast and splendid monument, not of oppression and terror, but of wisdom, of peace and liberty, upon which the world may gaze with admiration forever. You are a part of our great country and our great Commonwealth, where in 1834 courageous leaders in Harrisburg approved the Free School Act so that all Pennsylvania children would receive an education. And our local community has supported that ideal to ensure that this education for USC students be of the highest quality. So whether it be your role as a citizen of our country or as a member of a school, a workplace, a team, a family, a church, or a community, know that you are a part of something bigger than yourself. In conclusion, my 3 points of practical wisdom: constructing a learning plan for life, being a leader, and knowing that you are a part of something bigger than yourself, are linked like those concentric circles that you hopefully learned in math. 2 or more circles with the same center point, and that center point is you. Class of 2012, your community is proud of you, and your family is proud of you. In fact, your parents are sitting here tonight asking how it all went so fast. Just yesterday, they brought you home from the hospital. You were taking your first steps, losing your first tooth, or watching Buzz Lightyear for the 100th time. Along the way, they have shared their own practical wisdom so that you would do the right thing the right way, even when they weren't watching. Make sure to take time tonight to thank them for sharing their practical wisdom, or as Coach Rendard suggested at baccalaureate, pay forward to thank them. Author Mark Holohan wrote, "If you want your life to be a magnificent story, then begin by realizing that you are the author, and every day you have the opportunity to write a new page." I close by asking that when you write each new page, that you demonstrate the practical wisdom to do the right things the right way. Class of 2012, with the authority vested in me, Superintendent, in the name of the Board of Directors, Administration, and Faculty, I solemnly and publicly confer on you the degree recommended by your principal, Dr. Galante. On behalf of the school district of the Township of Upper St. Clair, I offer you good fortune, Godspeed, and the best wishes of your alma mater, now and forever. I now present to you our President of the USC Board of Directors, Mrs. Rebecca Stern.
There we go. Good evening. On behalf of the school directors, I want to extend my very personal and heartfelt congratulations to you, the class of 2012. I've given a lot of thought to what I could say to you that would be relevant, meaningful, and distinctive. Of course, knowing that I would be following the student speakers tonight added some pressure. Usually, they are the most relevant, meaningful, and distinctive speakers during commencement. No offense intended to my colleagues. But tonight was no exception. congratulations to all the student speakers. You all did a great job. It was a pleasure to hear you speak tonight. In thinking about the relevancy of my remarks, it occurred to me that many of you are probably avid fans, as am I, of Game of Thrones. Telling you that winter is coming was not quite the right message for this evening. So I asked about your senior song and was told that it was Good Vibrations by Marky Mark. Know that song. It's fun and a spirited dance song. It is, however, not really known for its brilliant lyrics. The lyrics wouldn't be particularly inspirational, but the life of pop star Marky Mark could be. Many of us are more familiar with the vocalist as the actor and producer Mark Wahlberg. He used to be more famous for showing off his well-toned abs than his vocals. Now, he is an Oscar-nominated actor and producer. His acting work can be seen in Oscar-winning films such as The Fighter and The Departed. He and his business partner, Steve Levinson, are the producers of the hit series Entourage and Boardwalk Empire. Mark is the youngest of 9 children who grew up in a working-class neighborhood in Boston. He was a tough kid from a tough neighborhood who actually found himself in trouble with the law at the age of 16. However, he did not let that time in his life define his destiny. He clearly found the motivation to better himself. Today, he is a well-respected actor, producer, and father of 4 children. So how is this relevant and meaningful to you, the class of 2012? Our district mission is to develop lifelong learners, to nurture the uniqueness of each child and promote happiness and success. My hope for each of you is that you be just that, a lifelong learner. That as you move from being a teenager to being an adult, that you assume the responsibility to nurture your own unique talents, and in doing so, promote your own happiness and success. My hope for you is that you don't let your high school persona alone define you throughout your entire adult life. I hope that you will build and expand upon who you are today as you travel through your life. Mark Wahlberg's talents were perceived to be limited to his ability to look good. It turns out that his talents are much more diverse than that. You too, all of you, each have multiple unique talents. Continue to learn new things about yourselves and the world around you. Continue to share your talents with others. And continue to listen to fun, spirited music. Once again, congratulations to the students, to your families, and to my colleagues at the school district. A really heartfelt and excited congratulations to the class of 2012. Thank you.
First row.
Michelle Nicole Mellick, valedictorian, senior class president. Nancy Paige Gillen, senior class treasurer.
Taylor Drew Manello, valedictorian, senior class vice president.
Michael John Boyes, valedictorian.
Anastasia R.G. Raftis, senior class.
Maya Chandrasekaran, valedictorian.
Laura Marie Rubino, student council president.
Luke Raymond Denon, valedictorian.
Ryan Christopher Miller, valedictorian.
Christopher Daniel Farbaugh, valedictorian.
Christopher Leo Ravazio, valedictorian.
Pura Girish Gadbole.
Daniel Adam Ride, valedictorian.
Shane Matthew Heil, valedictorian, student council vice president.
Arlie Kate Schenker, valedictorian.
Michelle Marie Hoke, valedictorian.
Troy William Shepner, valedictorian.
Siraj Sundar, valedictorian, international baccalaureate diploma candidate.
Adam Snyder, valedictorian.
Paul Frederick Joseph Austin, international baccalaureate diploma candidate.
Michaela Marie Statz, valedictorian.
Kimberly Hannah Wong, International Baccalaureate Diploma candidate.
Vinay Vishwanathan, International Baccalaureate Diploma candidate.
Mary Ruth Hornak.
Vijay Vishwanathan, International Baccalaureate Diploma candidate.
Isabel Sarah Abrams.
Kristen Lasivic.
Taylor Lee Allen.
Emily Alexandra Lowry.
Willem Joseph Alo.
Tori Nicole Luckenbach, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Elizabeth Lynn Altair.
Nicole Marie Lund, Student Council Executive Officer.
Joseph Michael Anderson.
Melissa Lynn Luxemberger.
Christian A. Andreggi.
Stephen Anthony Mackey.
Alyssa Christine Ardolino, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Sarah Sky McLaughlin.
Thomas Kenneth Arthur.
Taylor Michelle Maggs, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Troy Marshall Baltatat.
Abigail Madoff.
Jessica Lauren Barnhart.
Hillary Lynn Mantell.
Grant S. Barr.
Alexander Ward Marshall.
Laura Jean Bauman.
Joseph T. McCann.
Kirsten Juliana Bayless.
Candace Lee McComb.
Zachary Alexander Bell.
Shannon Lee McCullough.
James Daniel Beal.
Evan Robert McElhaney, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Christopher William Bollier.
Megan Jean McLaughlin.
Alexa DeVee Bile.
Mackenzie McGuire.
Alexander James Bell.
Andrew James McGuire.
Gregory L. Bennett.
Cody Thomas McKee.
Alyssa Lee Bynan.
Kylie Julia McKenna.
Minjong Ben.
Jessica McCown.
Marcus Anthony Bojic.
Shane Tyler McMurtry.
Megan Chandler Blass.
Anna Sophia Meenan.
Alexandra Andrea Bogdanova.
Mary Emma Myman.
Sammy Boliha.
Jake Alexander Melby.
John Benessi.
Samuel David Messner.
Marissa Ann Bowman.
Kelsey J. Mahenko.
Ryan S. Boyd.
Maureen Milligan.
Alexander Field Boyd III.
Allison Jennifer Mitchell.
Morgan Brandwine.
Catherine Marie Molitaris.
Nicholas A. Brinsky.
Sarah Muller.
Addie Brown.
Mimi Monterisier.
Brian James Burke.
Patrick James Montgomery.
Allison Marie Berner.
Megan Marie Moreland.
Adam Glasgow Bussey.
Tyler James Morrow.
Michael Anthony Calabrese.
Killen Finn Mulkern.
Xavier Calicut.
Brent Robert Murphy.
Carrie Noel Campbell.
Bart Oscar Murphy.
Megan Elizabeth Canos.
Thomas Murray.
Joshua Canteen.
Vanessa L. Murray.
Amelia Jean Carey.
Rashad Nathan.
Jonathan Carr.
Deanna Carolyn Nizer.
Joseph Aaron Carson.
Wesley Ung.
Nicholas Sermonero.
Timothy Elias Novick.
Gregory Lindsay Chaffee.
Kathleen M. Nulf.
Nicholas Paul Chesko.
Caitlin Marie Olendike, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Shawshank Salam Chundi.
Claire Elizabeth Ortenzo.
Gabriella Bensho Chung.
Lydia Panko.
Garrett Richard Samina.
Ian Sang Park.
David Jacob Claypool.
Raymond Maxwell Pavlik.
Nicholas James Coletti.
Matthew Devin Paxton.
Dakota Christopher Conwell.
Caitlin Peo.
Samuel Reed Kramer.
Adriana Perdigoto.
Daniel J. Cosma.
Frank Lewis Perryman Jr.
Joshua Nicholas Critelli.
Cody Peters.
Nathan Daniel Cross.
Dominic Joseph Pizzone.
Benjamin William Dabbit Jr.
Elizabeth Ann Phillips.
Abigail Ann Dadowski.
Jacqueline Marie Pion.
Aaliyah Ray Daniel.
Eric Paul Pistorius.
Gabriella Dupre.
Joshua Mark Plato.
Rebecca Louise Davis.
Michael Thomas Polans.
Allie Jane DeBoer.
Jesse Lee Poljak.
John Christopher Dietrich.
Andrew Joseph Poloshenko, Student Council Executive Officer.
Zachary Joseph Dietrich.
Vincent Porco.
Abigail Frances Durius.
Courtney Powell.
Alexandra Danielle DeCenzo.
Valentino Pizzuti.
Christopher Dixon.
Shane Edward Prislack.
David George Dockin.
Adam Joseph Puccetti.
Mariah Jacqueline Doohan.
Justin Michael Puccetti.
Sean Patrick Doherty.
Melissa Lynn Pushkar.
Samantha A. Dreyer.
Jacob Andrew Razakinis.
Kayla Lynn Dubois.
Sammy R. Rahman.
Mary Alexis Dudas.
Valerie Marie Repeshak.
Emily Louise Duffner.
Benjamin Zell Riker.
Alexander Michael Eatington.
Nicholas Ethan Casella Ramser.
Jordan Michael Edkins.
Ian Michael Ridge.
Carl Thomas Eglin.
Zoe Ann Reeder.
John Joseph Elliott.
Peter M. Logano.
Catherine Leahy Engel.
Sean William Ritchie.
Alicia Nicole English.
Caroline Ray Robinson.
Claudia Sophia Escribin.
Samantha Marie Rodriguez.
Nicholas Michael Fanning.
Kelsey Ruth Rogers.
Tyler Thomas Feldman.
Brian Joseph Rollick.
Kyla Juliana Felice Williams.
Karis Catherine Rooney.
Stephen Michael Farah.
Stephanie Lynn Ross.
Sadie Lynn Minette Fiedler.
Rachel Ann Saylor.
Kelly Marie Findle.
Anthony R. Sanchez Jr.
Sean Regis Flaherty.
Samantha L. Siracco.
Martin Hunt Fournier.
Jacob Michael Scarpino.
Shayla Francis Force.
Samuel Paul Scarpino.
Colby Ann Foster.
Dylan Lewis Shack.
Cassandra Lynn Fowler.
Madison Ashley Scheller.
Peter John Frack.
Alexander Paul Schenken.
Mary Grace Franisich.
Andrew Elias Schmidt.
Milo Todd Freeze.
Emily Rose Schmidt.
Carolyn Elizabeth Friedberg.
Abby Elizabeth Schuster.
Stephen Thomas Gannon.
Cody Lynn Schutte.
Eli Arthur Garfinkel.
Jack Goodman Schwaba.
Alex Daniel Garwig.
Connor Siciliani.
Sean Christopher Gaudio.
Alexander Michael Cedar.
Gina Nicole Gelb.
Katie Ann Seach.
Matthew Martin George.
Joseph Sellop.
Carlton William Gibson.
Arjun Sharma.
Stephen John Gilorowski Jr.
Lucy Shen.
Joshua T. Glasser.
Laura Schonberg.
Ryan Darren Glykus.
Ethan Shue.
Kellen James Godfrey.
Madeline Downey Simons.
Jennifer Megan Godwin.
Mara Catherine Single.
Mara Sinead Goldner.
Emily Ann Skelton.
Tyler Chase Green.
Elizabeth Jean Slazinski.
Joy Marie Gregory.
Margaret Rose Slowey.
Dominic Gregor.
Adam Robert Sneap.
Alexa Claire Gross.
Jack George William Armstrong Snowden.
Andrea Madeline Hammer.
Catherine Marie Snyder.
Claire Marie Hardwick.
Matthew James Snyder.
Rachel Ann Past.
William Joseph Snyder.
Roger William Mills Hatfull.
Toby Michelle Soda.
Alexander David Hayden.
Elizabeth Lauren Spock.
Kristen Hayes.
James Edward Southern.
Logan Coleman.
Rebecca Elizabeth Stage.
Jared Hess.
Michael Dennis Stein.
Matthew David Hess.
Austin Payne Steffen.
Brianna J. Hill.
Alexander Stoller.
Megan Rose Hindman.
Lucas Wayne Strait.
Brody Alton Holyfield.
Carly Marie Sullivan.
Dallas Marie Holyfield.
Michael James Switterlich.
Robert Brent Hopkins.
Rachel Catherine Zooks.
Mary Catherine Horn.
Ross James Taylor.
Jared Samuel Horvitz.
Jonathan Valentine Teep.
Jeffrey James Hoy.
Nicholas Michael Thomas.
Michael Hua.
Zachary Michael Tobias, Student Council Executive Officer.
Alex Joseph Ignema.
Karina Tomich.
Uche Chukwu.
Andrew
Olowanasi.
Patrick Tomachek.
Jacob Newman Impelliceri.
David Anthony Trombetta.
Adam Lewis Janoski.
Chad Kenneth Truber.
Rebecca Jaquay.
Robert Kenneth Tuttle.
Madison Samantha Jenka.
Paul David Van Ryzen.
Evan James Johnson.
Amanda Marie Vargo.
Kayla Amelia Johnson.
Megan Veglia.
Natalie Zuzu Johnson.
Akil Venkatesh.
Allison Louise Jones.
Danielle Von Waldo.
Connor James Joyce.
Mohini Volovalker.
Robert D. Kaufman.
Kristen Volchak.
Shannon Mora King.
Jason Scott Ware.
Bridget Catherine Keith.
Jessica Joan Wasoko.
Connor David Kelly.
Natalia Lee Elizabeth Wasloff.
Colin Michael Keneally.
Michael Wilcox.
Conrad Joseph Carr.
Austin Joseph Wilding, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Matthew Joseph Kernan.
Hannah Jane Wilhelm, Senior Class Executive Officer.
Rachel Kate King.
Roman Williams.
Ross Kirby.
Tara Ann Williams.
Lindsay B. Kirkpatrick.
Katie Lynn Weissman.
Patrick Niederberger.
Kelly S. Wood.
Lee Christopher Kennedy.
Michael Joseph Worthy.
Carrie Ann Kissel.
Courtney Hannah Reggett.
Connor James Clutch.
Madison Yanoski.
Haley Elizabeth Kramer.
Billy Roshin.
Natalie Marie Cubera.
Lindsay Healy.
Claire Louise Kylander.
Derek A. Young.
Aaron Lee Kyle.
Catherine Marie Zacher.
John Kyriakopoulos.
Hannah James Angera, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Nathan Lachelle.
Lainey Marie Zangera, Superintendent's Academic Achievement Award recipient.
Stephen Lachelle.
Margaret Claire Zangera.
Alexander Ali Lamar.
Caitlin Zanone.
Gregory Larson.
Benjamin Bowen Zung.
Alexander Jane LeClaire.
Daniel Joseph Zora.
Julia Ayers LeClaire. Jacob Brian Lemus. David Thomas Leiden. Vicki Lee.
Ladies and gentlemen, I announce to you the graduated class of 2012. Congratulations and good evening.